Hey there, my name is Jess Powers, and I wanted to do a quick video on the process and what it's like to work with me. So often people just have no idea where to start or what the process even looks like or what they should expect. So I want to take you through my systems that I have in place, that my team has put in place to really guide you through the steps. In this video, I'm going to specifically be focusing on what it's like as a buyer. And that's whether you're a first-time home buyer or you have purchased a home before, but maybe it's been a while, or maybe you've worked in a different state. Every state has different rules and regulations. The contracts and the process often look very different. So we're going to focus on home buyers and what you can expect. So the first thing I like to do is I like to have a meeting with people. Sometimes that's in person. I find in this day and age, very often people really like to meet via Zoom, a little bit more convenient for your schedule. So however you prefer to meet, that's where I'm going to show up. And we're going to talk about the process. I'm going to find out more about your search and your goals, where you are in the process. Have you already spoken to a lender, or are you just starting from square one? I actually love it when people are starting from square one because I've already done the work to find the right lenders. I've found all of the people that can help you throughout this process. My job is to build relationships. And so I look at this from the standpoint of I want to be your person in the real estate realm that helps you this time, the next time, and ongoing. So I'm really focused on providing you the best value and the best service that I can, understanding that this is a long-term relationship that you and I are starting. So what can you expect in that meeting? Well, we're going to talk about your goals, what you're looking for, where you're at in the process, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the neighborhoods and communities that might meet your needs. We might do a map search. We might look on MLS where I talk to you about the budget and the market. It really is going to be tailored to what you need and where you're at. Then I'm going to follow that up with whatever contact information that you've requested. And I'm also going to follow up with my process. So let's look at that. So I use a program called HighNote. And the reason I use this is because it really parses out the information in a way that I think I would like if I was a buyer. It's a lot of information to digest. And so if I simplify it for you into sections, you can really use this on your time when you've got the availability. So the first section is going to be just a little bit more info about me. And then I want to talk to you about my team. So I've got other agents that I work with. I'm always your point person, but there might be occasions when I can't be in two places or once, or my goodness, maybe I actually go on vacation for once. Doesn't happen very often. But I know that my team can take care of you. So I've got Tracy, who manages the back end. She really is focused on making sure that we've got clear and quick communication with you at all times, scheduling those showings. I've got Susan, who helps our team with the transaction. So once you're under contract, managing that paperwork, making sure that the lender and the attorney are connected, making sure that we're on top of those dates and deadlines. I've got Margot and Christina, who also assist me with showings. I've taught them how to look at homes. They're both homeowners themselves and have been agents for quite a long time. So I've got a great team in place. So a little bit on who you might be working with. I've got a link to my homebuyer bootcamp. So here's my homebuyer bootcamp, and I'd really ask you to go through this step by step. So the first step really is just understanding your loan and your pre-approval. I've also got contacts for those lenders. So if you say, hey, I have a lender that I've worked with, but maybe you don't have a strong affinity for them. Well, I've got great lenders that they really are the top in Rhode Island. I've got so many great lenders that I work with, and I might really focus and say, hey, based upon our conversation and what your needs are and what you told me and the personality that I'm getting from this interaction, here's who I think might be a right and a good fit for you. So I may give you some suggestions on who to talk to. So back to the homebuyer bootcamp. So again, first of all, I've got lots of videos on understanding your loan and your pre-approval process. Then the steps on submitting an offer. And again, I've really tried to parse these out to make it as easy as possible for you. But I want you to go through each of these videos because when it actually is time for you to submit an offer, I want you to understand what those components are. I want you to understand what an escrow deposit is. So when I say, okay, what are we going to offer for a deposit? You understand that's different from your down payment. I want you to understand what an appraisal gap clause is. When we're in a strong market like we are in right now, We might see buyers that are willing to offer above what we would say the current market value is right now. And you've got to understand what those options are so that you can decide if it's something you're comfortable with or not. I also have a single family purchase agreement that I'd like for you to go through. You don't want to see a contract the first time when you have to sign it. So if you do the work ahead of time and really understand, or even if you don't understand, at least you'll know what questions that you can ask me. So you'll watch a video and then you'll say to me, hey, Jess, I really want you to further explain the inspection contingency. Give me some examples. Talk to me about how that's worked. What are your clients offering? Does everybody have to waive the inspection? What are some other strategies that we might be more comfortable with? It really is going to deepen our conversations if you have the information, rather than if you find a home that you love and then immediately say you want to write an offer without having done any of this work. That's when it's extremely stressful. I also have other additional information. What are contingencies? You've got to know what those things are rather than having to know them as we write an offer. So my homebuyer bootcamp, I hope you'll find really useful. Step 3 is really what to expect once you're under contract. So, and again, this has got some videos that you're going to be able to watch. I've got my home inspectors, insurance. So that's the homebuyer bootcamp education. And then I've also got a whole playlist of YouTube videos that you can check out. These are all for first-time homebuyers. Now, most of these are in the homebuyer bootcamp, but if you prefer just to go straight to YouTube and start watching these videos, whatever way works best for you. That's why I have multiple ways. I've got blogs that are, because sometimes people just like to digest it by reading it. Sometimes folks like to watch a video and then read it. So whatever is going to connect with you, that's my priority. Again, I talked to you, I've got the pre-approved, I've got my lender contacts, so this is in that guide. This is just some tips, some things that you should know before you hire an agent. Most people know several real estate agents. You might have several friends that are real estate agents. You might have a random aunt and somebody's like, oh, your aunt Betsy is a real estate agent. She's great. You should work with her. Well, maybe she only sells 5 houses a year. Does she really understand the current market that we're in? Does she have the tools that are going to guide you through the process so that you feel like you're fully informed and fully in charge and know that you're making the right decision? So look through these, and if you've got questions for me, if there's a question you're like, hey, I didn't ask Jess that question, or I'd like to now that I've watched this video, again, it just elevates our conversation and gives us more to be able to figure out how I can best help you. I do provide a lot of market trends. Once you find a property that you are interested in or a neighborhood, we can talk about neighborhood trends. Real estate is very localized, so what might be happening in one area doesn't necessarily represent what's happening in a specific area, particularly in Rhode Island where it's very densely populated. Neighborhoods can change street to street, so we're really going to focus on that. And again, once you understand the basics of the home buying and the process and the steps that we're going through, we're able to then talk about and really delve into the layers of real estate. So we start from the process. Then once you've got that down, we're able to really start narrowing in on, okay, let's talk about this neighborhood. Okay, let's talk about this home style. Let's talk about this very specific topic, and neighborhood trends is part of that. As part of just your basic, again, this is what I send to you after a follow-up when we have our first buyer consultation. Just some more information. What do closing costs include? This is something that a lot of people, they just don't understand. So what are closing costs? And then a little bit about the brokerage. I work for EXP, which is one of the fastest growing real estate companies in the US. I decided to align with EXP. I switched companies a year ago in June of 2022. Before that, I was with a very small local brokerage, which was great. I loved being with that small brokerage. But at some point, I realized I had outpaced really pretty much everybody in that office. And I needed to be able to grow my business. I needed better systems in place so that I could really be of better service to my clients. And I decided that EXP is the best spot for that. Now let's talk about what happens and what I provide you once you are under contract. Again, I go back to the same format. So this is a property in Warwick that closed this past summer. So I send this out to the client once we've got that contract. I want you to know, here are the contract details. Let's really sum it down. You've got the basics of the contract, the deposit. Here's your deadlines. Here's the details on your escrow deposit. Where does that get dropped off or mailed? If you can submit it electronically, I'm going to put that link in. That seems to be gaining more popularity. Step 2, you've got to schedule that home inspection. Well, guess what? I've got great home inspector referrals, so you're going to be able to click on that and learn more. I'm working on a video that I'm going to add in to this guide, and that will go through the inspection, their services and what they provide, and give you some advice on what you might want to include and what you might not want to include. Some people, you could choose to have a radon test. Well, what's radon? Should you spend the extra $150 for the radon test or not? Should you have a lead test? Do you need a septic or a well test? And who do you go to for that? So I'm going to have an additional video. Again, here's another video, everything that you need to know about a home inspection. Obviously, it's not going to be everything, but it's going to give you some tips and some guidelines. What to do regarding filling out your loan application. You will need a closing attorney. I've got a couple great referrals that I can send to you. In Rhode Island, our legal documents are standardized. So while you don't need an attorney to draw up the contract, you do need an attorney that will handle the closing documents, handle your title search, and that sort of information. Insurance. In order to be able to close on your loan and get your mortgage commitment, you will need a home insurance provider. I've got really great insurance providers. You want to reach out to a couple and get a few quotes. And then some final information about setting up your utilities. So again, I really try to make it into very easy, bite-sized steps. Here's what you do. Take care of this first. This is what you're going to do next. And here's who you're going to be in contact with. Let's talk about your actual search. So when we set up your search, I'm going to set it up through MLS. That's the multiple listing service. That is the site that Redfin, Trulia, Zillow, all of those sites are pulling from. So anything that you see on any of those sites, it originated in MLS. And as a real estate agent, I pay for this site to have access to this, and I'm also able to share that with my clients. So I'm able to set up a customized search based upon your criteria. I can pop in here and I can see, hey, Peter has favorited a property. This allows me and my team to click on this, and this tells us that this is a property that Peter is interested in. And I can see that it is going to be active on September 1st. And so I can text Peter and say, hey, Peter, this property is going to be available as of September 1st. Here's the first opportunity for the showings, and I can send over disclosures. But Peter has a search that is set up in his specific neighborhoods that he wants to be in his specific search parameters. That's budget, that might be number of bedrooms, that might be size of the house, that might be lot size. There's lots of different parameters that we can set. He won't be able to see this. If you looked this up right now, you would not see this on Zillow. You would not see this on Redfin. You will see it here through Coming Soon. You'll also see if a property is under contract or if it comes back on the market. So this site really gives you access to all of the information that you need. Plus it's collaborative so that I can see it and my team can as well. So we'll set you up on a custom search once we have a solid pre-approval in place and once we know what those search parameters are. That allows you to see the market, check it out, and then when you're ready to actually set up showings, my team will set those showings up for you and will actually be on those showings with you. If you're interested in learning more about my past home sales, you can jump onto Zillow. You can go to Agent Finder, type in any real estate agent name, and it will give you their information. It's going to tell you, I wrote a bio here. It also shows you past sales. So you can see I work throughout Rhode Island. I also have a few occasional sales in Connecticut and Massachusetts each year. My social circle tends to be in the Providence metro area, but I really do get all over the state. So when you're looking at real estate agents and deciding who to work with, this is one tool that you can use. You can also hop into Google and you can go through, again, type in a real estate agent. You'll find them. If on Google, you'll be able to find them. And then you can click on their reviews and learn more about, what their clients and their colleagues are saying about them. I think it's important to do that research and really look into people. I think in determining what real estate agent is the right fit for you is to really find out what systems they have in place, not only to guide you in your initial search, but also once your search has begun, and then also once you're under contract, and then following up, what are they going to do for you once you've also closed? I've got a great resource list that I send all of my clients. It's got all of our contractors. That's a list that we're constantly refining. I'm regularly reaching out to my clients, checking in. How's your house? Is there anything that I can help you with? I'm regularly also making sure that I send them a property evaluation update. My clients get once a month, they get a HomeBot update. That's a valuation that can help them to track their equity in their neighborhood, but also in their house, and also providing a monthly newsletter that has, here's what's happening in the market. This is what's happening with real estate in Rhode Island, to help people to be able to understand, hey, this is what's going on. There's just so much information out there. So what's your agent going to be able to provide for you? What do they provide? What do they follow up with you? And is that a lifelong relationship that agent builds? So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into my process and what you could expect, a little glimpse into what it would be like to work with me. Happy to chat further and set up a call to talk. And if there's anything I can do to help, just reach out. My name is Jess Powers. I'm a local real estate agent here in Rhode Island, and I'm happy to help.